Hey everybody, this is Dave from Growing the Home Garden. I am today in my garage on one of my work tables where I am taking a look at some seeds, and I'm going to show you a method of seed planting and seed starting that I have done for many years and have found a lot of success with. And that is basically using a plastic cup to grow the seeds. So let me show you how all that works and how it comes together here. To do this, you only need a few things. You need some sort of a seed starting mixture. This is just a regular seed starter. You can use garden soil or other things. Whatever you like to use is fine. Okay, you need some sort of a plastic cup. Now, what's great is maybe you've been to a party or something, you take the cup home and you don't actually buy it, so you get to recycle and reuse. That's pretty cool. And you need a clear plastic cup. Okay, these are cheap and easy to come by. And what's going to happen is they're going to come together just like that to make like a miniature greenhouse. So it's real simple and real easy. You can do a lot of seeds at one time in this seed mix. So now, when seed starter mixes tend to be very resistant to water absorption, and that's just due to the peat that's inside of it. So you see here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pre-moisten inside the cup with a little bit of water. Now, I don't have holes in these. If you want to put a saucer on the bottom of some kind and then put some holes in the bottom of the cup, you can do that. I found that if I just don't get them too wet, that they will do just fine on their own once I put the lid on, and then I don't have to water them again until I'm ready to transplant. So that's kind of nice about this. So once I've done that, now I go get my seeds. Okay, there's my tomato seeds that I'm going to start with. That is Orange Hat Tomato, which is a new one I'm trying this year. It's a tiny little tomato plant, a dwarf determinate variety that you could probably do in a pot or do indoor somewhere. I thought it would be a neat tomato to try this year. So the next thing I do is I just need to sprinkle some of these seeds in, and you'll notice I've got quite a few seeds going in there. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so that makes it a little more complicated. So I probably got about 8 or 10 seeds inside that little cup there. After I've done that, I'm just going to kind of shake the cup up just a little bit so that the stuff settles in a little. And then I'm going to just put my cup on top. Just like that. And that's all I got to do until things have germinated. Now let me show you some tomatoes that I have already done that have germinated. These are actually peppers. These are a stuffing style pepper. They're mini stuffing peppers. And you can see how well they are growing and doing in this little cup, just like I did here. Now, before too long, you'll notice right now they've just got kind of their first leaves, but they're starting to form the secondary leaves up here. And once those come out real nice and strong, I'll go ahead and start the process of transplanting them. And in this little cup, I have to go through and count, but we probably have 12 or 14 different pepper plants right there. That's more than I need, but it's always great to have some extras that you can give to friends, family, or maybe local schools, or somebody can use them. So it's good to grow some extras, and you never know. Sometimes your plants are not going to make it. Sometimes they won't be that successful and they'll die off. But at least in this case, I'll have plenty of those mini stuffing peppers, and they're pretty prolific peppers. That's really hard to say. Prolific peppers. So you can see the result of that, and that's about 3 to 4 weeks in on this type of thing. And I can still feel that there's water in the very bottom. What's kind of interesting is that when you have a peat-based seed mix, the peat does tend to float up, and so the moisture is down. So that moisture will actually wick up through this and give them what they need. But I have kept it in my garage on heat mats under some lights, just regular shop lights. And hopefully when the weather starts looking better, I can start doing some transplanting and maybe move them over to the greenhouse. Here's some chive seeds. There's just one thing about chives you got to keep in mind, and onions and other types of things in the allium family. They don't have a long-term viability on the seeds. So if you've got old seeds 2 or 3 years ago, I would recommend just going ahead and putting them out in the garden, seeing if anything does happen to germinate, but don't expect much, and getting fresh seed each year to try to grow something. So here I'm just going to put a whole bunch of these here into this little pot and spread it around. I keep saying pot, and these are actually cups. Anyway, but I'm going to press those in just lightly like that, and then I'm going to overwater with just a dab of water on the chives. But keep in mind, they just do not last as far as the seeds go. Other seeds like tomatoes and peppers and lots of different other seeds have very long-term viability, especially if you store them good, like if you keep them in a refrigerator in an enclosed bag where they can stay dry, but cold. But chives they just don't last. So, and onions too, for that matter. Anyway, that's just one thought on that. So there's one of my chive containers I'm going to put up under my lights. You can use this for virtually any kind of seeds that you want to grow. In this pot is a type of Echinacea that I actually crossbred between two other varieties. I'm trying to remember what it is. Echinacea with one called Sombrero. So I don't know if these are going to turn out to be anything special or not. They were some seed I had saved in the refrigerator, and I thought, well, why not give it a shot and see what these turn into this year. So I've got a couple little plants growing. This one just started getting its secondary leaves. The first leaves that come up are called cotyledons, and those are just basically there so it can really start sucking up the energy from the light and then putting all that energy into making up those new seeds to get this first set of true leaves. So that's Echinacea. Some of the other things that I'm going to get started here soon are some brown jalapenos, chives. These I'm really excited about. I want to try them. I saw them for sale dried, and it was just crazy expensive. Just dried peppers from the Chiletepen wild chilies. And then try some rhubarb. Now, I've never grown rhubarb before, but I'm excited to give it a shot. It's not really something I've ever really had a big desire to do, but I thought it would be really cool. Notice there it says to soak the seeds for 1 to 2 hours before planting. So we've got a little bit of time before transplants on those. But basically, this time of year, we are at the very end of February, going into March at the end of next week. And it's the time in Tennessee to pre-start your peppers, your tomatoes, eggplant, anything like that you want to grow. So, and this is one great way to do it. I've done this for years, and when I was doing my farmer's market garden business and selling plants at that, this is what I would do. And so I can take these cups and fit 18 of them in a 10 by 20 tray, 10-20 tray. And when I do that, each one of those cups, if it's got 10 seedlings in it and I've got 18 in there, that's 180 potential plants that I'm starting in an area that's less than 2 square feet. So it is a really good way to start a lot of seeds. You do have to transplant right after that, after they've got some decent roots and stuff. But it's a really good way to do it. So anyway, if you have any questions, pop something into the comments down below. If you've done this method before or you have some suggestions that you want to offer, do that too. But this is Dave from Growing the Home Garden. Please subscribe and hope to see you around. I just discovered this as I was looking through my pots, or actually my cups here. This is a seedling for the Indian bean tree, otherwise called the catalpa. And it's got some beautiful flowers that appear every spring, and it produces these bean-like pods off the tree. And we were at Henry Horton State Park, and I picked up one of the pods, and I thought, well, let me see if I can germinate this. So I separated the seeds out, put them in the fridge for a little while. I think it was about 2 to 3 months, and then I started these about the same time I started my peppers about 3 to 4 weeks ago, and I looked to see germination. I am really excited about this. So anyhow, that's the catalpa tree. And it's just a beautiful tree. It's a native plant to our area. It's cool. I'm just so excited.